Good morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on where you are and when you're watching this. Making these presentation today to discern the different stages of the mealworm and how to generate organic fertilizer utilizing the Molitor tenebreo. Excuse my Latin. But it's just basically the darkling beetle, mealworms. A lot of people know them, a lot of pet enthusiasts, reptile owners, fish enthusiasts, bird. Pretty much these are utilized in Asia. They use this actually as a protein source. And my general uses of the mealworm is to generate a powerful organic fertilizer that is well known to be able to replace many modern day synthetic fertilizers that leach into the ground, causing a lot of pollution with heavy metals and salts and organophosphates. This will help assist all this because this is also can be used as a foliar spray to help protect your plants. There's a lot of usages with this, but in this video I'm going to cover how to raise the worm to produce the frass and everything that requires to get to the final stage, stage 7. And it's about 7 stages. We'll cover the first one now. So the first stage, obviously you need to acquire worms, or if you can get eggs. If you already have the beetle bin going, I already have tons of worms, so this is how it works for me. But if you're just starting to purchase off worms from a store or a pet store or someone you're going to have to start at the 3rd stage. So let's just begin as if we have eggs. So this is the first stage. A required material is a bin. I use a Sterilite bins. They're at any store, Walmart. There are cheaper options. You can also make them yourself. And there's also a lot of innovation that needs to be processed with this. This is a simple, low-tech method. Doesn't involve any tools. It does require buying things at the store, but you can make this all on your own. If you are a carpenter, you can build shelves. You can buy screens and fashion them in there and make specialty equipment for this process to make it more efficient and optimized. But for now, you purchase these bins. This is what I've done in the beginning. I purchased a bin. You have to get a flaky wheat bran. Make sure it's flaky. You do not want any wheat germ inside there because it will cause frass collection to be a bit more difficult. You're going to need a 4-layer shelf. Doesn't have to be 4 layers. It could be 3, 2. Doesn't matter. If you're just starting off, you don't need that much space. But as the process goes on, every, I believe, 4 months or so, you're going to have new eggs. So this will multiply exponentially, so you will require more space eventually. Right now I have about 30 mealworm bins, and they're growing. I'm running out of space. So anyways, that's just the issue I'm having. So your shelves, and then you need carrots. And make sure, like I said, there's no wheat germ in the substrate. Okay, so that's the first stage, and your eggs will start growing. Second stage. Still operating within the same bin, all that is required is to continue adding carrots and observe worm growth and to remove old and dried out carrots. And you add a carrot every 3 to 4 days. And then the third stage, 1 month later. I forgot to cover the timeline. So it takes 2 weeks to hatch the eggs, and it takes 3 weeks for the hatched larvae to grow pretty much into the 3rd stage, which is the adolescent mealworm. This is where you're going to be collecting your frass. This requires a 1/50 inch mesh screen to sift frass from substrate. If wheat germ is properly vetted in step 1, then there should only be frass coming through. Current method of sifting is primitive and low tech, which is good because anyone can do this. It doesn't require special machinery, it just requires some equipment. You'll need a ventilation mask for safety because this stuff is dusty and it causes, there's E. coli in there. There's some things you must take care of. You do not want to be breathing this stuff in, so you must take proper precautions when you are doing stage 3. You'll need a bin to hold the collection of the frass, and also a 5-gallon bucket, something to hold the worms after you had sifted them over the bin. You just pour those in there and let them sit in there for a minute while you finish doing the bin that they're living in. Sift over collection bin, return them back to the original bin once it has been completed. When I finish emptying the bins, I clean them, I wash them out, and I dry them, and then I put them back in just for sanitation. It helps keep the bugs healthy because there are fungal diseases that can attack your mealworms. I know mildew sometimes. The carrots, sometimes if they're too wet or they sink to the bottom, the moisture won't release and actually accumulates and it'll cause mold. So you also want to make sure the carrots, you're not adding too many carrots. Only enough carrots where they'll eat. So there's another thing. And you're going to add 3 more pounds of wheat bran flakes because usually the mealworms at this stage, they have eaten about 60 to 70% of the substrate you've added. So you're going to have to add at least 3 more pounds. You don't always have to do this. It's very, it's visual. You just look at your bins. Okay, I need more wheat bran today. And that's stage 3 here. And you keep repeating this step every 4 to 5 days until you reach the 4th stage, which is pupa and adult mealworms 1 month. Required meal again, once again, you're going to be using the sifter to sift out the frass first, and then you get another bin and you put this inside the bin, and when you're done sifting, you pour the finished sifted values of what you just collected, and you pour it into the pupa sifter, and then you shake it back and forth, and it should collect most of the pupas, so you can put those now into a new bin, which will hold the pupas, and you throw in some paper towel rolls and a carrot or 2, because these beetles, if they don't have food in front of their faces, they will cannibalize other worms, other pupas, eggs, whatever. They will do this. This is why you need to stay on top of this so you can generate as many mealworms as possible without losing them to cannibalism. So just be careful with these beetles. They are self-connoisseurs. So basically you just do that, you dump it in there, and then you sit and you put carrots back in there, and you pretty much just keep doing the stages. Go to stage 1 or stage 3 here. So you're going to keep doing that until eventually the mealworm bin, the adult mealworm bin has totally grown. And usually if there's only a few left, you'll have extra substrate. You can just add that into a bin that's at its same stage. Okay, so that's the 4th stage. And the 5th stage, pupa hatchery and transfer. After about 1 to 2 weeks, pupa will begin to hatch into beetles and be transferred into a new bin. So when the pupas start hatching inside the hatchery bin, you're going to build a beetle colony. And this requires 5 pounds of wheat bran, 1 bin, 2 egg carton tops, 2 spent paper towel rolls or toilet paper rolls, and 1 carrot cut in half. Beetles will start living and mating inside the newly constructed habitat. And as more pupas hatch, you just keep adding them to that 5th stage. And it grows and grows and grows, and I believe the beetle lays, in its lifetime, the female beetle will lay up to 200 to 500 eggs. And I believe the beetle lives for about 4 to 5 months. I've seen them live longer when you take care of them. I've actually had some beetles last 8 to 9 months when they're properly taken care of and given love. So love your bugs. So there we go. That's the 5th stage. 6th stage, beetles will continue living. Maintenance is required. You have to make sure you're clearing out spent carrots because they dry up and they turn into hardness, and they're just taking up space at that moment. So you really want to make sure that you do clear out all the dried up carrots or carrots that have spots on them, or if you see mold or whatnot, make sure you remove those. So in the 7th stage, this will require you to separate beetles from substrate after 3 to 4 weeks of living in the new beetle bin, and place eggs into a new bin by sifting with a colander, avoiding letting any beetles to mingle, as this reverts back to stage 1. Rebuild the beetle bin from stage 5 with new substrate to prepare the next breeding cycle. This requires a bin, 5 pounds of wheat bran for substrate for beetles to breed, 1 carrot split in half. Reuse spent paper towel or toilet rolls for living spaces. 1 colander large enough to let wheat bran through but not beetles. Never separate frass at this stage, as eggs are too valuable. If frass accumulation, leave till eggs are hatched and they reach stage 3. All right, and that's pretty much the cycle. And then it just reverts back and forth. You keep doing these measures. You grow, till eventually you'll probably have 30 mealworm bins yourself, and you'll be able not only to create protein for yourself. It's a 6-legged insect, so it is kosher.